Okay, so I'm going to this morning we've heard a lot about data and analytics. Alex has given us a big picture view of the mega trends. I'm going to look at culture, and I'm going to argue that culture is going to be one of our, in terms of local government, competitive advantages for the workforce of the future. And that a focus on organisational culture is going to be something that is going to be defining in terms of whether local government can be successful in the future, and I'll argue why. Just a little bit about me. So I'm the Director of Workforce and Information Services. So I actually do have people and technology in my portfolio, and often people go, gee, that's unusual. You've got HR and IT, but I don't think of it that way. I think of it about people, process, technology and change, and that's what we're trying to link up. I want to acknowledge my two colleagues who are here from the City of Sydney, so Isabel and Harleen, who are sitting over there. I also want to acknowledge that at the City of Sydney we're obviously one of the larger councils, and if there's anything that we present today that you're interested in, please come and ask for it, because we're always willing to share all of our material. We believe, we're funded by ratepayers' money. We're prepared to share anything that we have, as long as it's not, private information. But we're prepared to share anything with the rest of the sector and the rest of the public sector as well. So here we go. This is what I'd like to take you through. I'd like to talk to you really about three things. I'm going to talk to you about culture as a competitive advantage in the workforce of tomorrow. I'd like to share with you some of our experiences at the City of Sydney, and then I want to take a deep dive into fairness. And actually this morning gave me a perfect palette for that, because as we think about the Uberisation of the workforce, we think about the bottom three rungs of the ladder, career ladder, dropping off. What does that mean for the societies that we live in? Who wins and who loses out of the workforce of the future? And I'm going to argue that fairness is going to be a critical value that we're going to have to address moving forward. But first of all, let's look at culture as a competitive advantage. So culture's always been important for organisations. Everybody in this room knows that. But it will be even more important in the future. And organisations that don't recognise that as human beings, we search for meaning and fulfilment as much as some money to pay off our mortgage. If we don't recognise that, as an organisation, company will be left behind. And I think that as the workforce becomes more fragmented, and people, if you read the stories as well about, people who don't have, who are always hot desking, are now being named the homeless of the workforce, right? So as some of these things are happening, we're seeing a downside. And I actually was on a panel a couple of days ago with the National Mental Health Commissioner, and she was very interesting, and she said, a lot of these things obviously have a real downside, and they're going to attack inherent sense of belonging and meaning, and as serious practitioners we need to pay attention to that, and we need to look at culture as a mechanism to address some of those issues. Just back on the basics, we know that culture is critical to organisational performance, and we know that a good, strong and aligned culture that aligns with strategy improves business performance and business results, and we don't need to look very far. We only need to check out the best places to work. This is a Fortune 100 best companies to work. And they found in their retrospective research from 1998 to 2015, Fortune magazine's 100 best companies to work financially outperformed their competitors at a ratio of 2 to 1. 2 to 1 financial outperformance. And they were not always the hot technology companies like Google or Netflix or Microsoft. The best employers, and this is what the conclusion of the report said, are better than others because their business leaders are focused on workplace culture as a competitive tool. So where culture is strong and aligned to strategy, it helps improve performance at a ratio of 2:1. And that was 17 years of data. If we look to other sources, you know this sort of literature, if you're in the engagement space, Great Places to Work Institute looked at consistently the organisations that made it into their top lists, and they looked at what the factors were, and they came up with these 5 dimensions that demonstrated the best places to work. And they were characterised by credibility, respect, fairness, pride, and camaraderie. They're all words to describe culture. And if we're thinking these are just nice to haves, they're not. Okay? So a strong culture doesn't guarantee better performance, but it's certainly a prerequisite. Without it, you're not going to have it. And again, you know this literature, but just to remind ourselves that organisations that do invest in a values-driven initiative like fostering openness or diversity and inclusion, there's lots of literature that shows that they have better business performance and innovation, and you can read data about, as I said, financial performance, maximising talent, the link to innovation and the link to customer service. But there's another reason that we need to focus on culture, and that's because our employees are demanding it. So there's a demand, there's a pull factor as well here. And so if we believe that our organisations are only going to be successful if our people are successful and they bring their best ideas and their talent to work, then we need to start recognising that the best and the brightest are going to choose us, we're not going to choose them. And in local government, I think that's true. If we want to get the best and the brightest, those best and the brightest are going to have many choices, and they're going to check out us as much as we're going to check out them. Okay? And they're going to look for workplaces that give them growth, autonomy, that align to their own values, that will give them a sense of fulfilment, all the things that everybody in this room wants. Those things are going to become a very precious commodity. Josh Burson, he writes for the Deloitte Review, Deloitte consultant, you might have read his work. He summarises this in terms of the balance of power is changing. And I think everybody who works in HR is seeing this, right? The balance of power has shifted from the employer to employees. And that's not just in terms of talent, that's in terms of a range of things that we'll look at. But it's forcing business leaders to learn how to build organisations that engage employees as sensitive, passionate and creative contributors, i.e. as human beings. Okay? And I think in the workforce of tomorrow this is going to be even truer. We're going to see the balance of power between employer and employee start to swing. It's one of those trends. It's already started. We already can see it. And we need to think about that in terms of, whilst we're all employees, we're also all citizens. We're often residents, we're often rate players, we're often consumers of the various services that our employees provide. We're often advocates, and more so, we can be critics, and critics that are fairly damaging to our organisations. So if we think about employees with all these other multiple roles, we can see actually that they're a very powerful base and that we need to pay attention to them. We need to pay attention to them in terms of humans. Can I just ask you, who has looked at their organisational score on Glassdoor? And who knows about Glassdoor? Yeah? Do you know what it is?
So, I think it's the site where employees can rate their employer.
Yeah, and
leave comments
and is your council on it? Have you got reviews? Maybe. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I just thought I'd show you because this is sort of an example of how the power's shifting. So Glassdoor it was developed by the people who put together TripAdvisor. You know, you can look at TripAdvisor, and instead of just reading the hotel blurb, you can read all the reviews from all the people who've read. I use it all the time when I go on holiday. Well, same with workplaces. Before you go for a job, right, you can read all the reviews from people who've worked at that workplace, and so you're getting inside information, and people have overall scores. And so Glassdoor looks like this. Last night I downloaded our current score, so it would be relevant. This is the City of Sydney. We only have 12 reviews up. We have a score, overall score of 3.4 out of 5. Now, interestingly, Westpac has 3.2, and I was told by the APAC head of Glassdoor that the average in Australia is about the low 3s. So it looks like we're sort of right on par. I looked up the City of Sydney, City of Melbourne, who's often our brand rival, 2.9. And what you can find here is just like TripAdvisor, okay, you can have a look at all the independent anonymous reviews. So I don't know if you can read that, but one of them, you know, is terrific. Living the Values, 5 points, 5 out of 5 stars, I think that is. The other one is not so terrific. I've got new glasses here. It says, culture begins from the top and the management lacks good people management skills, 2 out of 5. So it's interesting because, of course, this type of media, and also you've probably got employees who are on social media making all sorts of comments about your city's policies, and how that's swinging the power balance and how important brand is. I think, Alex, you talked about brand and employment brand and how important that will be in the future. Or Sarah talked about employment brand. So it's something to think about. Another thing to think about is what the new workforces expect from employers as in terms of culture. And this comes from the Millennials survey by Deloitte in 2014 called Big Demands and High Expectations. I think we can all relate to that. More than 70% of millennials expect their employers to focus on social, societal or mission-driven problems. People are looking for values. They're looking for values-based work. They're looking for values that align with their own, that if their job isn't inherently meaningful, at least their company is doing something that they think is meaningful. So that's not 70% of people in local government. I'd probably say that's probably 95%, because the type of people who are attracted to working in local communities would have a very high expectation of societal and mission-driven work. The other stats here is people want to be creative, and also people do want development. They're expecting development in order to stay. So we might think, oh, this is just demanding millennials, but I think we all know when we work in a culture where the organisation's cultural value set, or what it's trying to achieve, its mission and strategy, aligns with at least some of our own personal values, we feel as if we fit, we belong, we're able to contribute, and we strive. And we're able to bring the energy and creativity and enthusiasm that's expected. So I think culture moving forward is going to be an incredible competitive advantage. Just before we flip into the next section, I just wondered if you could just talk to the person next to you very, very quickly and just come up with 2 or 3 things in your culture that you think are part of your competitive advantage as an employer. Very quickly, 60 seconds. Are you happy to call some out, just randomly? What things do you have in your organisational culture or strategy that you think are competitive advantages? You want to go?
I guess we just talked about flexible work practices.
Okay, so flexibility, great. What else?
I said openness. It's open door policy right up to the general manager and the hierarchical stuff. No.
Great, openness, yep, flexibility, openness.
We talk about being passionate about our work.
Yeah.
And I think words like passion usually aren't in local government
Yeah.
vocabulary. So
Yeah, yeah. Environmental sustainability, yeah. Other things?
What I found out from exit interviews when people are talking about neighbourhood things is giving back to the community.
Yeah.
And particularly the field or operational staff.
Yeah.
Where they're delivering on the ground. That's how we move on.
Yeah, yeah. So I just want us to think for a moment. A lot of organisations have whole departments that are focused around their employee value proposition and corporate social responsibility, and they have to dream up big programs, right? So, partnerships with the Smith family and, like quite elaborate, volunteer for a day, quite elaborate programs. I guess what I'd like to argue is that we have that innately. We've got all that. Our people deliver those services to, Meals on Wheels people, our rec centres support young people, who might be unemployed and need to learn driving skills. We've got all that. We've got a very rich, palette of things that we can offer as our corporate social responsibility and our employee value proposition to the community. If we can tap it and think about it like that, we don't have to invent them and tack them on like some of the corporates have to do. If you're working for a tobacco company, you really have to work hard to convince people that you're doing something meaningful. We don't have to work that hard about doing that. But I think we do have to realise that in this search for meaning for the workforce of the future. So this is our, proposition to our employees is, come and help make the City of Sydney green, global and connected. And we know that it resonates with our new staff and our existing staff. And it's incredibly meaningful for them. And just on this is a picture of our Lord Mayor and city staff who are right at the beginning of Mardi Gras. So they're manning the Mardi Gras float for the Sydney Mardi Gras parade. This is last year. So once again, we run, we help to put Mardi Gras together with the Lord Mayor. We don't have to invent an opportunity. Those opportunities are there. We ask for our staff if they'll help out during the annual homelessness count, and I'm sure you've got lots of opportunities that are right there to make all staff's job very meaningful without having to spend a lot of money. We have a lot of